Okay, and now we come to the most important piece in the game of chess, the most important, but one of the least powerful, which has to be dealt with care throughout the game, the king. The game is over when the king is checkmated, makes it the most important piece on the chessboard, but its movements are limited to only one square in any direction. So let us say in this particular position, the white king has the option to move to any of these squares, only one step at a time. We will also learn there's a unique position which is known as castling, where the king can move two steps. That happens only once in a game for either of the kings. We'll have a look at that. And similarly, for the black king, it has the option to move to one square in any direction, like that. So, as an introduction to the king, I'll again say it is the most important piece, but one of the weakest because it can move only one step at a time. And it always has to be protected from the opponent's pieces because the checkmate will end the game. And also, very important thing to remember about the king, it cannot be captured. I see many students when they start the lessons, they learn from their families, from their friends, and they learn versions of chess in which they're very happy capturing the king. But in international chess, it is not possible. It is against the rules to capture the king. It can only be checkmated. And also, if it is under a check, it must be immediately removed from the check. We'll look at those concepts also going forward. Now, the second most important thing about the king is that it cannot be placed under attack. So, let us say if I want to move the king next to the white king, it is not possible. It is not possible. It is a very important and unique characteristic of the king which it doesn't share with any other piece. The king is the only piece which cannot be placed under attack. It cannot be placed in a square which is in the range of any of the opponent's pieces. If I want to move the king here, not possible, not allowed. If I want to move the king here, not possible, not allowed. But I can choose to go to other safe squares. I can choose to go to the safe squares. And in the next example, I think we will see how to move the king safely away from the influence of other pieces. So let us say I will just, for example, set up a few pieces here and there to show the limitations of the movement of the king. Okay, so let us say we have these pieces and okay. Now, just to show the concept, I will highlight the pieces, the squares which are under influence of the opponent. So if you see, the squares on E1 and F2 are under the range of the black bishop on H4, while the squares on D2 and E3 are under the influence of the or the range of the black knight on C4. So it is illegal for the king to move to any of the highlighted squares as they are under the range of the opponent's pieces. So if I try to do that, it won't be possible. So the king can only be placed on the safe squares. So now I'll highlight the safe squares. These are the safe squares which for the moment are not under the influence of any of the opponent's pieces. And for me, it is possible and legal to move to any of these squares as per the rules of chess. I can move to all the squares which are safe, which are not under the influence or the range of any of the opponent's pieces. Now, similarly, let us look at the black king. This whole sixth rank is under the influence, under the control of the white rook on a6. So there's no possibility for the king to move up. The last rank is under the control of the white queen. So moving the black king backwards is also not possible. So for the moment, black has two possibilities to move its king if it wants to, is to the square d7 and the square f7. So if you notice, these two squares are free from any influence of the opponent's pieces, the white pieces at the moment, and it is possible for the black king to move. Okay, I guess it is black's move now. Now I can move it to a safe square. Okay, so I hope we understood the movement and limitations of the movement of the king. The king can move one step in each direction in its move, but it cannot be placed under the range of any of the opponent's pieces, including the king. That would be an illegal move. Illegal move, basically, not allowed according to the rules of chess. Okay, so I guess we have had an initial look at the movement of the king. We understood its limitations and the possibilities. And with that, we'll go to the next chapter, which is the rules of castling. Chapter of the movements of the king, its limitations, and the rules of castling. And I will see you in the next chapter. And I'll close it for now.